What if the secret to becoming resilient to emotional pain wasn't about building higher walls, but about bravely walking into the parts of yourself you've been taught to fear? We've all been there. A careless word from a friend, a betrayal from a loved one, a judgmental look from a stranger. It lands like a physical blow, a sharp arrow that seems to come from nowhere and lodges itself deep inside. Our first instinct is to defend. We start building our emotional fortresses brick by brick. We tell ourselves to be tougher, to grow a thicker skin, to just stop caring so much. We chase this armor of indifference, thinking that if we can just become numb enough, we can't be hurt. But what if that entire strategy, the very one our culture sells as strength, is actually trapping us in a cycle of pain? What if the walls we build to keep the hurt out are the same walls that lock us in, cutting us off from real connection, from our own energy, and from the wisdom our pain is trying to give us? Carl Jung, the pioneering Swiss psychiatrist, offered a profound insight that turns our whole idea of hurt on its head. He suggested a form of inner power so fundamental it can change your entire experience of life. The idea is this: the power others seem to have to hurt you is a direct reflection of the parts of yourself you haven't met yet. The pain you feel, he proposed, isn't just an attack from the outside world, but a powerful summons from the depths of your own soul. To really get what Jung was talking about, we have to look at what hurt actually is. When someone's words or actions trigger that familiar searing pain, what's really happening inside us? The common story is simple cause and effect. They did something, and so I feel pain. The blame is on them. The source is out there. We see ourselves as the victim of an emotional hit and run. This mindset naturally leads to one solution: build better defenses. If the danger is outside, the answer must be to armor up. This gives rise to the classic, but ultimately failing emotional strategies we all use. The first layer of this armor is usually suppression. We feel the sting of rejection or the heat of embarrassment, and we immediately shove it down. We clench our jaw, swallow the lump in our throat, and say, "I'm fine, it doesn't matter." We treat the emotion like a fire to be stamped out. But suppressing a feeling doesn't make it go away. It's like putting it on a credit card. The energy of that feeling, the anger, the sadness, the shame, doesn't just vanish. It gets shoved down into the basement of our psyche, where it starts to fester. Over time, it can bubble up as chronic anxiety, unexplained depression, or just a nagging feeling of being disconnected from life. We think we're controlling our emotions, but really they're silently running the show from behind the scenes. When suppression isn't enough, we might escalate to denial. This is a deeper level of self-deception. Here, we refuse to even admit the arrow hit us. "That didn't bother me at all," we might say, and almost believe it. We rewrite history in real time to edit out our own vulnerability. Denial creates a dangerous gap between our conscious mind and our real experience. Living this lie is exhausting. It takes a huge amount of mental energy to keep the facade up, energy that could be used for creativity, growth, and connection. But the sneakiest defense of all is projection. This is where our ignored pain starts to warp how we see the world. Unwilling to face a feeling in ourselves, we unconsciously pin it on others. If we're carrying a deep, unacknowledged well of anger, we'll suddenly find ourselves surrounded by angry people. If we're denying our own insecurity, the world will seem full of judgmental people who are always looking down on us. Projection turns the world into a mirror of our own unhealed wounds. We end up fighting battles with everyone around us, never realizing we're actually at war with the parts of ourselves we've disowned. The irony is that all these defenses, suppression, denial, and projection, which we use to feel safer, make us more fragile. By refusing to engage with our pain, we stop it from ever healing. An unhealed wound stays tender and perpetually vulnerable. The more we deny, the more hypervigilant we have to be. Our world shrinks. We avoid certain people, situations, and conversations, all to protect our carefully built walls. This isn't strength, it's a prison we build ourselves. We become brittle, reactive, and easily knocked off balance. This whole defensive strategy is based on a big misunderstanding that pain is the enemy. But what if it's not? What if hurt isn't a sign of damage but a signal of incredible importance? What if it's a messenger sent from the wisest part of you, carrying a map that leads directly to your own freedom? This is where Jung's work flips the script entirely. He invites us to stop fighting the pain and for the first time have the courage to ask it what it's here to teach us. To find the source of real emotional resilience, we have to journey inward into the mysterious landscape of the psyche as mapped by Carl Jung. Jung's work was so revolutionary because he saw the unconscious not just as a dusty attic of repressed memories, but as a living, intelligent part of us, a source of incredible wisdom and creativity. Imagine your consciousness, the part you think of as me, is a small, sunlit island in the middle of a vast ocean. That ocean is your unconscious, and in that ocean is a huge, hidden continent Jung called the shadow. The shadow is one of Jung's most vital ideas. Simply put, it's the collection of all the parts of ourselves we've been taught to hide, repress, or deny. It's the other side of our personality. Early on, we learn that certain parts of us are unacceptable. Our parents, teachers, and society teach us that being angry is bad, being selfish is wrong, or being too loud or too sensitive is undesirable. To get love and approval, we learn to cut off these pieces of ourselves. We push them into the darkness of our unconscious. This collection of disowned parts, our anger, our fear, our jealousy, our vulnerability, forms our personal shadow. But here's the key. The shadow isn't all bad. We also banish our gold into the shadow. A boy taught that boys don't cry might repress his natural compassion. A girl told not to be bossy might disown her natural leadership skills. The shadow, then, is everything we are that we've convinced ourselves we are not, full of unclaimed energy and potential. Ignoring the shadow, Jung warned, is a risky game. Because it's unconscious, its influence over us can be total. It pulls the strings from behind the scenes. The man who has repressed his aggression might engage in passive-aggressive behavior. The woman who has denied her own ambition might find herself in relationships with controlling partners. The shadow doesn't go away just because we ignore it. It projects itself onto the world around us. This brings us to the core of the idea, projection and its link to emotional pain. When a part of our own shadow gets triggered, we don't see it as part of us. Instead, we see it as a quality in someone else that intensely irritates or fascinates us. As Jung famously suggested, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Think of it like this. You've disowned your own feelings of insecurity. Then you meet someone you see as arrogant. You feel an immediate, intense dislike. Why? The easy answer is, I hate arrogant people. But the Jungian explanation goes deeper. That person's behavior is a trigger, a hook snagging on your own hidden insecurity. Their outward confidence is a painful mirror to your inner lack of it. The intensity of your reaction is a direct measure of how much energy you've spent pushing that quality down. This works for positive qualities too in what's called golden shadow projection. Ever find yourself intensely admiring someone almost to the point of hero worship? You see them as brilliant or courageous, qualities you feel you could never possess. Jung would say you're likely projecting your own unrealized potential onto them. You're seeing your own disowned gold in them. So let's connect this back to being hurt. When someone's words cause you deep emotional pain, it's because they've unknowingly touched a raw, unhealed part of your own shadow. The hurt isn't the arrow they fired, but the way it resonates with a pre-existing wound inside you. If someone calls you selfish and it wrecks you for days, the question isn't just whether it's true. The deeper question is, what's your relationship with your own needs? Have you spent your life trying to be good by denying them? The criticism then becomes a painful reminder of that disowned part of you. Of course, this doesn't mean that people can't be genuinely cruel or that external events aren't painful. Jung never denied that, but he noticed that the intensity and stickiness of our emotional reactions often point to something unresolved within us. This changes everything. Pain is no longer a random attack. It's a personalized guidance system. Every emotional trigger, every moment of intense irritation is a flashing arrow pointing directly to a part of your psyche that's waiting to be seen, understood, and integrated. The pain is a call to become whole. Understanding the shadow is one thing. Doing something about it is where the real transformation happens. Jung called this journey individuation, the process of becoming a whole, integrated self. The main tool for this journey is shadow work. This isn't a quick fix, it's a courageous practice of self-exploration. So how do you actually do it? First, you have to shift your focus from blame to curiosity. When you feel that sting of being hurt or angered, you have to consciously resist the urge to focus on the other person. You pull your attention away from what they did and turn the spotlight inward. Instead of thinking, how could they say that to me? You start asking different questions. Why did that specific comment set me off so much? What part of me feels wounded by this? What insecurity or old memory is this touching right now? This isn't about letting people off the hook for bad behavior. It's about recognizing that your emotional reaction is yours, and it holds powerful information just for you. This single shift takes you from the role of a powerless victim to a curious explorer, ready to discover something new about yourself. Next, become a neutral observer of your own feelings. Once you've turned your focus inward, the goal is to be with the emotion without being swept away by it. We usually either stuff the feeling down or become completely identified with it. I am angry. Shadow work offers a third path, observation. You create a space of mindful awareness around the emotion. You're not the storm. You're the scientist watching the storm. A practical way to do this is to simply name it. Ah, this is anger. This is what shame feels like. Then get curious about it physically. Where is it in your body? A tight chest, a pit in your stomach, a hot face? Just breathe into that sensation without trying to fix it. By doing this, you create a small gap between you and the feeling. In that gap is your freedom. Then engage in a compassionate dialogue, often through journaling. Observation creates space. Now you use that space to understand the emotion's message. A journal can be your best friend here. When you feel triggered, just start writing from the perspective of the part of you that feels hurt. Don't censor it. Then ask some gentle questions. What's the story I'm telling myself about this? What's the belief about myself that this situation is poking? E.g., I'm unlovable. I'm not good enough. When have I felt this exact way before? Can I trace this feeling back? What does this wounded part of me need from me right now? This is like emotional archaeology. You're tracing the trigger back to its source, often a childhood wound where a core belief about yourself was formed. By bringing this stuff into the light, you start to dissolve its power over you. Finally, take back your power by owning your projections. This is the most transformative part of the work. It takes real guts and honesty. Start with someone who consistently gets under your skin. List the specific traits that annoy you most. Are they arrogant, lazy, needy? Now ask yourself with total honesty for each trait. Where in my life do I act this way, even just a little bit? Where do I secretly wish I could act this way but don't let myself? Am I at the total opposite extreme? For instance, if their laziness drives you nuts, are you a workaholic who has denied your own need for rest? This isn't about excusing their behavior. It's about finding the hook in you that their behavior gets caught on. When you can see and own your own capacity for that trait, the other person's behavior loses its electric charge. Then do the same for your positive projections. Think of someone you admire. List the qualities you see in them, their courage, their creativity, their freedom. Now ask, where is my own courage hiding? How can I express just 10% more of that quality today? You stop outsourcing your potential and start embodying your own gold. This is the work of becoming whole. So what does life look like after doing this work? What is this so-called immunity? First things first, it's not numbness. It's not a state of cold, detached indifference where nothing can touch you. That's the fragile armor of the unhealed ego. The resilience that comes from shadow integration is the exact opposite. It's a state of profound feeling, deep connection, and unshakable inner peace. It's not about feeling less, it's about feeling everything without being shattered by it. As you continue to integrate your shadow, you start to feel a sense of inner wholeness. The civil war inside you calms down. The good parts and the bad parts start working together. This means there are far fewer hooks for the outside world to snag. An insult no longer lands on a secret wound of insecurity because you've already made peace with your own insecurity. Someone else's anger doesn't trigger a huge reaction because you've owned your own capacity for anger. The arrows still fly, but they pass right through you because there's nothing for them to stick to. You also shift from unconscious reaction to conscious response. Before, a trigger would set off an automatic, often destructive chain reaction. Now a space opens up between the stimulus and your response. In that sacred pause, you have a choice. You can still feel the flash of anger or hurt, but it no longer runs the show. The emotion becomes a piece of information, not a command. You can feel anger and choose to set a calm boundary. You can feel hurt and choose to give yourself compassion instead of lashing out. You become the author of your own life. This leads to the most profound quality, an unshakable inner fortitude. By consistently turning inward, you build a strong connection to your core self. Your sense of security no longer depends on outside approval or favorable circumstances. You develop a center of gravity deep within you. Life will still bring storms, loss, challenge, and betrayal are part of being human. But you now have an anchor that holds you steady while the waves crash on the surface. This isn't fragility, this is true resilience. It's the quiet, powerful stability that comes from deep self-knowledge. Adversity itself gets reframed. It's no longer just a threat, but an opportunity for deeper integration. Every challenge becomes another chance to practice, another invitation to meet a new part of your shadow. Life stops being a battlefield and becomes a grand journey of discovery. The secret to resilience in the end isn't about building higher walls. It's about making your inner world so vast and whole that there's nothing for the arrows of others to stick to. It's the peace that comes not from avoiding pain, but from learning its sacred language and transforming it into your own unshakable strength. This journey into the shadow is the ultimate path to self-liberation. It's the work of turning what you see as your greatest weaknesses into your most profound strengths. It's realizing that every person who triggers you is a teacher, and every pain you feel is a doorway to a more whole and empowered you. If this idea sparked something in you, I invite you to take one small step. Think of one small trigger, one irritation from your day, and just for a moment, be willing to see it differently. What might it be telling you about yourself? Remember, the parts of you hiding in the darkness aren't monsters to be slain. They are lost parts of you waiting to be brought home. Have the courage to turn around, walk into the dark, and reclaim them. Because in the heart of your deepest shadow, you will find the source of your most brilliant light.